Smoke rose from the ruins of the Kingdom of the Sun. Athena walked through the ruins of the once great desert city. Rubble, smoke and fire were left in the wake of the assault, further darkened by the eclipse-stained sky. Greek soldiers, her soldiers, after pillaging the city, now marched through the streets, spreading fear among the locals. Other soldiers feasted on looted food and drink from nearby homes. But once they sighted her, they hastily rose to attention, dropped their prizes, and saluted. No words from her could express what she felt. No reprimand could be enough. Was this the same army she had trained? Is this what her brother had done to their honor? She came before a raised pedestal where the once great Ra was now bound in chains, bent to his knees, a bandage across his eyes, stained with blood and dirt. She leapt upon the pedestal and shattered the chains with a spear. The freed Ra simply slumped, groaning. Reverently, the soldiers slowly approached to watch their goddess of wisdom. She called to them, asking if this was what they had become. Her father Zeus built this army to defend Greece, but now it was used to conquer another kingdom. Under Ares' command, they became looters and suppressors. She asked if it made them proud. None of the soldiers met her gaze. She told them that if they regret their actions, that they help her and pray to Ra. He was a king among gods, and he would restore the sun if they showed their faith. At first, only a few bowed their heads. Then more joined. Soon the entire crowd were on their knees, praying to Ra. A beam of light shone down from the darkened sun and surrounded the hawk-headed god. After a moment, he leaned back and absorbed the glorious ray. Still shaking, Ra reached for the bandage over his eyes and pulled. Bright and powerful, the sun erupted across the land. The light of day had been restored, and Ra's eyes, now healed through faith, reflected the brilliant sun. The eclipse was undone. But Ra didn't see the world around him. Instead, he saw a vision of Asgard, smoldering in the fires of defeat. The mighty Thor lay beaten and broken. Odin, the All-Father, grappled the fearsome beast Fenrir, but his arms shook with weariness. Watching it all sat Hel upon Asgard's throne, pleased with her victory. Rising up, Ra placed a hand upon Athena's shoulder. Weakly, he told her that the end of Asgard drew very near. Athena knew she had no time to waste. She turned to her soldiers and offered them a chance to regain their honor by going into battle, not for conquest, but for peace. She rallied her army to march with her towards Asgard. They raised their weapons and shouted her name. They would follow her anywhere, even into Ragnarok itself. A soundless night entombed the Roman countryside. The Greek army had camped for the night on its march towards Asgard. All was still and asleep, save only for the watchmen. However, Athena found no rest either. Ra's vision of Asgard plagued her. She doubted if she had time to aid Asgard at all. It may have already been too late. The darkness brought about even more unease. No wind, no crickets. Anxiety hung in the air. The night seemed entirely unnatural. Then the inevitable happened. A bloody cry shattered the silence. Athena burst from her tent, spear in hand. Dark shapes in the shadows moved. No, the shadows themselves turned into beasts and slew those that cast them. These were the same monsters Athena had seen at Hel's command in Asgard. Athena spotted a lone frost giant outside the camp. She called the soldiers to arms and gave orders to quench the fires and heed their own shadows. Without hesitating, she dashed for the frost giant. Soldiers went to action by snuffing all light sources, but the shadow monsters set the tents alight, engulfing the area in even more light. Athena leapt at the giant and buried her spear through its chest. It didn't affect the giant at all. With a massive fist, it snatched Athena and held her aloft, crushing her between fingers the size of trees. Ravens cried as dozens descended upon the giant. The giant tried swatting the birds, but they were too small as they pecked its face. It dropped Athena and she fell at the feet of Nox. Nox stood against the giant with only a pale candelabra lit with tiny otherworldly flames. She raised a gloved hand and drew the darkness to her. The killer shadow beasts clawed at the dirt as they were unwillingly pulled to her, like the eye of a vortex, until they were swallowed in the blackness of her dress. They were swallowed by night itself. She then cast a swarm of shadows at the frost giant. It flailed and cried in agony until the night devoured it as well. Athena recovered and took a spear. She respectfully thanked Nox. As powerful as the daughter of Zeus was, Nox was a primordial creature, one to be feared and respected. Nox didn't require thanks. This night was the birth of Ragnarok. Athena explained that she and her army were headed towards Asgard to defend Thor and his people. Nox warned that it was a pointless goal. Asgard had already fallen. But there was another darkness that was rising from below, a darkness from the east. Athena asked what darkness Nox was talking about. Nox advised her to take her army back to Greece. In Asgard, they would only die, but they had a fighting chance against Hades. She then unraveled into the darkness of night. Athena wrestled with the warning and the decision she had to make. Both Ra and Nox said Asgard had fallen, and now Greece was in danger. Her soldiers silently urged her to guide them home, to see and protect their families. Athena shed a tear as she apologized that she couldn't be there to aid her friend Thor. Olympus was braced for a storm unseen, but felt by all. Athena dismissed her soldiers to rejoin their families. She watched the momentary joy on their faces, but there was little to be hopeful about. People held back their desire to ask their goddess of wisdom for guidance, and simply watched as she headed towards Olympus. With spear in hand, Athena headed for the throne room, where her uncle Hades held court in the absence of her father. Great doors barred her entrance. Steel chains and boots rang on stone. Ares met Athena outside. She noted that Chark's axe was in his possession. He proclaimed that their father was finally avenged. Anubis was dead. She corrected him that Anubis was not the murderer. It was Loki in league with Hel. She watched him for a moment, and then noted that he probably already knew this. He shrugged her words off and accused her of knowing why the sun shone again. He could only guess that Ra's vision was returned and his throne restored. She confirmed both facts and said that she restored Egypt's dignity as Zeus would have wanted. Ares sneeringly asked how she could know what he would have wanted. She said Zeus wouldn't want their people to live in fear, gesturing to the city below. She said that she was warned of a darkness approaching. Ares admitted that he got the same warning about the coming darkness. Athena offered her hand, asking if he would help her stop it. For a moment, Ares considered it. Then, without a word, he pushed against the throne room doors, opening a grim hallway before them. The warm and grand throne room she had known all her life was now lit with ghastly green braziers, piles of bones encircled the throne. Howling spirits swirled in and out like broken banners caught in the wind. And in the center stood Hades. Shocked by what she saw, Athena asked for an explanation. Hades slowly turned around, saying he wished it was done before they had returned. Ares pointed Chark's axe at Hades, demanding him to explain himself. Hades eyed them both as they approached. He explained that the Asgardians have incited Ragnarok, that chaos which spread without regard. To save Olympia, to save their people, he had little choice but to wage war. Athena angrily reminded Hades that war was something Zeus wanted to avoid. Hades admitted that Zeus wanted peace with other pantheons, but it was too late for that. He tried and failed to convince Zeus, so he had Zeus removed. Ares angrily accused Hades for murdering Zeus. Hades said he kept him safe. He kept the soul of Zeus away from the other gods of the underworld and safe within his own underworld. Athena pointed a spear at Hades, declaring that she would stop him. Hades tried to convince her that their goals were the same, but she scoffed, saying that waging war while peace was still attainable isn't her goal. Hades looked at Ares and offered him an army of mortals that weren't burdened by death anymore. An invincible army that could fight Asgard with him at their vanguard. Ares remained still and on guard. Athena said Ares surely wouldn't even consider it. Hades killed their father. Ares finally snapped back that Zeus wasn't his father. Zeus had always hated him. He journeyed to avenge him, but now he realized that he battled and slew those gods not for Zeus, but for himself. The mortals could choose to follow him or be destroyed. Athena tried to convince him that wasn't worship, it was fear. But Ares roared back that it was the same thing. After a moment, Athena turned her combat stance towards her brother, as he, too, settled into a warrior's stance. Ares reminded her that war was upon them, and he was the god of war. While raising her shield, she protested that wars would leave the world dead. Hades extended his arms to the angry spirits behind them. That was exactly the idea.
Mortals, do not fear death. Death is not the end. Death is the beginning. Surrender to the flames of Ragnarok. Forge a new world where all shall fear.